Okay, welcome once again. Who's new to this session? Anybody or people been? Okay, so I will repeat a little bit. And others of you have heard this before, so you'll hear it again. My name is Brenda Burkholder. I'm the marketing director from Nichols Village in Groveland. We're an independent living community for active adults 62 and better. And we provide independent living only. So 4 organizations sponsored this event for communities. Edgewood, Vida, Atria, and Newburyport. Nichols Village, excuse me, we're in Newburyport. And so Nichols Village does independent living. Vida does assisted living specializing in memory care. Edgewood is a CCRC, Continuing Care Retirement Community. And they provide independent, assisted, skilled, and memory care, 4 levels of care. And then Atria Merrimack Place, they have independent, assisted, and memory care. So we're all a little different. We're all retirement communities, but we're all a little different. So it's important for you to get out and look at all the communities of different types so that you know what you really need and want. There are many other professional resources here, and we've had 4 sessions. This is the last session, session 4. And basically, I want to tell you too that there's a lot of baby boomers coming up, and a lot of our communities are expanding. Nichols Village is planning a whole new expansion, as well as Edgewood has just, I think, completed theirs. Also, Atria Merrimack Place has an expansion, and I know Avita just recently, a couple of years ago, opened up in Newburyport by the hospital. So there is a demand for communities, for seniors and people who are looking to retire. I know Nichols Village has a wait list, so we're trying to build in order to fulfill that need. So it's important for you folks, the purpose of this whole program is to educate yourselves and get the knowledge that you need in order to move through your process and make the decision of where you want to go and how you want to live and what lifestyle you want. So we're going to get started, and I'm going to introduce you to 2 of our resource professionals that have a table in the other room, or rooms I should say. We have a senior real estate specialist and a professional move manager. And so our senior real estate specialist is Corinne McGowan, and she is the broker owner of Storybrook Homes. And also we have here professional move manager, Kate Grondin. She is has a master's in social work, president and founder of her company, Home Transition Resource, and she's a professional move manager. So I think we'll just begin as I turn to my program and realize this is a good program to have and take home and just use it as a resource. So I'm going to give a little information about each organization that's here. I think we'll start with Kate, I guess. Kate, we welcome you. Why don't you give us a few minutes, 5 minutes or so, or up to, about who you are and what you do, and then Corinne will go with you.
Hi, my name is Kate Grondin, and I am the owner of Home Transition Resource. We are a senior move management company located in Andover, but we work all over eastern Massachusetts. And we have been in business for 10 years. And I got started in this business by assisting my own parents with their downsizing project of a home that they had lived in for over 60 years. And it started when my mom started getting nervous about all of my dad's books. We had books in every room of our house, floor to ceiling. And it started to weigh very heavily on their minds as they grew older. So I helped my father with this project, and there were a couple things that came to mind throughout the project, and one was that what started out as an overwhelming project for him became an enjoyable process. And so it made me think, you know, what can start out as daunting can actually be kind of fun as the process moves forward. So that's always stayed with me. And I also realized that my parents could not be the only people in that situation. So it was sort of a light bulb moment for me, and I started Home Transition Resource. So 10 years later, we're here today. But what we do is we assist older adults with the physical and emotional aspects of making a later life transition. And it comes with so many things. It's so much more than just packing a box and calling a moving company. It's emotional to leave a home of many years. It's an overwhelming thought to go through all of your belongings and make decisions on what you can bring with you and what you have to part with. And one of the most difficult things we find for us and for our clients is really that piece of what we do, deciding on what's going to happen to those things that you can't take with you. So we try and help our clients with resources on those things. So in addition to that, we help people with finding a mover, doing floor planning. We usually start the process doing floor planning. We will pack and unpack and resettle you in just the way you want it done. So we take our clients from start to finish when it comes to the move, and we take on all of the tasks that you can delegate to us. Anything that you can delegate, we encourage our clients to delegate to us. And because the big piece of what you're needing to concentrate on is making those decisions. And it sounds like it might be easy. It's very difficult to make decisions, and your mind kind of, we call it decision fatigue. And so it's tiring, so we break up our sessions into small manageable chunks, and we really take our clients through the whole process in a way that is manageable, and it doesn't become overwhelming. And we actually do have fun with our clients. And I'll just tell you one story about a client that we moved to Nichols Village. We were downsizing, we had a downsizing session with her. And so we usually sit our clients in a chair and bring things out of a closet or drawers or whatnot and just ask them, you know, how they feel about a particular item. So we were going through the eaves of this home. The woman's name was Betty, and we found a box that obviously hadn't been opened in a long time. It was dusty, the white box was turning brown, and anyway, she had no idea what was in it. And when we brought it over to her and we opened the box, there were all these baby shoes in the box. And she started looking at the baby shoes, and when she turned them over, there were names on the bottom of the baby shoes. And it ended up being, you know, her brother, and then her sister, and then she turned over she's found her name on the bottom of the baby shoes. And it was such a joyful moment for her. I have a picture of it, and I use it in my presentations because it just illustrates that the process can be enjoyable. So if you're thinking that it's not, or it's too hard to get started or whatnot, just remember that the hardest part is getting started, but once you get going, you really do find joy in the process. So I'm going to end there and pass it on to Corinne, but we'll have questions and answers later.
Thank you. Hi everyone, is this? Yes, I think this is working right. Thank you to Brenda, who took the lead in coordinating this event today. So I just wanted to acknowledge all of her efforts, and you're with a group of people who really know how to bring fun into what they do, and so this one makes it fun. Excuse me. I can really ditto a lot of what Kate said. I am a seniors real estate specialist, so that is a professional designation that you know, has helped me to be a professional who, you know, I specialize in the 55 plus real estate market. This is a real estate market, by the way, that has tripled in the past 10 years, and it's just going to keep, you know, moving that way. This professional designation makes it so that I can efficiently and effectively help someone deal with the legal, the financial, the logistical, and the emotional considerations that often accompany a later in life real estate transaction. And I'm not a legal specialist. I'm not a financial specialist. But what I have is relationships with other senior focused professionals, so that I'm able to advise my clients who may be selling a home or purchasing a new one. I can make referrals to other, as I said, senior focused real estate professionals. So, and I love that you shared that story. That story is wonderful. It can be a joyful process, and it is so hard to begin. I've got so many clients or prospective clients who know they need to make a move, but there are so many questions, and it can be absolutely paralyzing. You've got, in some instances, a house full of belongings, not all of which may belong to you. So maybe you still have rooms that belong to grown children, and
Jiggles out there, I can hear.
yeah, and this is something that I commonly see. So it's not just about what happens to the belongings, but you've also got, in many cases, decades of memories in a family home. And then there's a question about, well, I know I need to move here, but where do I go? And what are my options? And so that's why I'm so grateful that Brenda thought to create this event. I'm sure we'll be having more of them. I mean, we have to remember that we're here today because of what's happening in the population. And we've got 3.5 million baby boomers turning 55 every day in this country. So I mean that's kind of mind-boggling. Never before in history have there been so many people on the planet. Interesting, right? Does anybody know how many people are turning 65 every day in America? 10,000 people turning. Did I say 3.5 million? Did I say daily or annually? Because I meant every year, 3.5 million baby boomers turn 55. So there's a need for what the information that we're trying to share today, and there's a need for people who specialize in all of these areas, and that need is just going to grow. I became I founded a storybook homes about 16 years ago, and I owned and operated the brokerage in the Berkshires for many years, and then a few years ago I relocated the business to the North Shore. So we cover greater Newburyport and our Newburyport-based small brokerage. And I became a specialist in working with this population when I met a gal in the Berkshires. She wanted to, she had a big country home, and she was all by herself. And she just wanted to make enough money to move back to Staten Island and get a small condo for herself and her puppy, and that's all she wanted. She said, all I want is enough money to get this condo. And I said, well, Judy, you're going to get more than that. And she said, all I want is enough money to get into this condo. So I quickly learned that that there are folks such as this client who need to be protected through this process. Judy had rooms in her house, again, that she hadn't even been in. She didn't even know she had in the house, and she had things in there, at her particular stage. And actually, she was very young. She was 65, although her memory was failing her, and she didn't want anything. She had a house full. She didn't want a thing. So, I mean, she really needed someone to help her with all of the different areas of concern. So I was able to, assist her with, introducing her to all of those professionals. And she made it down to Staten Island, and it was really just in the nick of time. She does not remember me anymore. That was a little heartbreaking, but she's there with her best friends in the community around her. She, did get more money for her house than she needed for her condo. She was in a good place financially, and she's getting the care that she needs. So this is a specialty that is, meaningful, and I think that just like there are other professional designations in other industries that are emerging, lots of services, lots of expansion. The need is just going to keep growing. So there's helping with that side of it, with the sale of a property, but also in being able to make referrals to. I should say, I am the author of this book, and the best way to share 20 minutes with you is to give you a copy of this book. So please, if you haven't already, put it in your bag. Help yourself to this book on the way out. And this talks about real estate options, housing options, information for caregivers in here, and some interesting housing trends for seniors that we may talk about that really don't have to do with specific retirement communities or assisted living options. That was longer than 5 minutes, I bet.
That was about right. That's all good. Thank you, both of you. So now I have a couple questions, but does anybody want to start with any questions in the audience? Anybody have a pressing question just based on what they just talked about? Okay, so my question, I guess, would be for Kate. And it's one of the questions on here, but I find it commonly asked of me, but I would like to hear what you think and what your take is on that. People say, well, when do I start downsizing? Where I'm going is a wait list. How do I coordinate that whole thing of downsizing? And then the other thing is to actually move, and what happens if, there's no place for me to move yet? But how do you deal with that with a client?
So whenever anyone asks me, when should I start downsizing, the answer is always now. Every one of us can do some downsizing in our home because we all have probably too much. Everybody has a junk drawer. Start with your junk drawer. It's really that simple. But when you don't have a move date, but you know that it's coming, take little pieces of it. Take little pieces of your house, a corner, a closet, a drawer, a desk, and say, I'm going to tackle this week and get it done. And keep moving forward until you get to a point where everything in your house is something that you would take to a new house. And you're ready to sell your house at that point because it's probably decluttered. You're putting yourself in a really good position by starting today. And when the move date comes, you're in good shape. So that's my advice.
All right, giddy up. No, okay, so wait, there.
For people who are downsizing, what do you recommend for places to sell their stuff? Garage sale, Craigslist, consignment store?
Okay, so that's a good question. Where do you sell your stuff? How do you get rid of it?
So, like I said before, it's probably one of the hardest things that we do because the market for secondhand furniture and secondhand anything has changed so much in just the 10 years that I've been doing this, and it's changed so much in just the past 2 years. It's very, very hard to sell. I don't know if you've noticed the articles in the New York Times and the Boston Globe and the Christian Science Monitor. Everybody's writing about this, the difficulty in getting rid of furniture. And china and silver, really almost everything. So what's changed though? We used to bring in vendors, and we still do, because there are still some things of interest to some of our antique dealers and some of our auctioneers. But there's been a lot of innovation to create solutions to this problem, and one of them is online auctions. And we work with a company that is a great partner with us, where we're able to sell things that you wouldn't really be able to sell in a very cost-effective way. You certainly use Craigslist for things like pianos and maybe for code or something, like that, but not for everything, because it takes our time to post it and it cuts into your profit. So we really need to look at the economics of it, but there are resources, and we're constantly sourcing them. But I think that everyone needs to go in with the expectation that your things really aren't worth a lot. And if you can adjust your expectation, you're going to be happy. If you're someone who needs to get a certain dollar amount for your things, you're probably going to end up unhappy. So it's really just adjusting your expectations and thinking about donation more now than ever, because so many people are in need with a lot of the disasters that are happening. Donations make you feel so good. It's a great thing to do for the community. It's a great thing to do for the environment. So, so we're donating more now than we have. But if you have things, we're here to help source buyers for you.
And there's obviously also some tax benefits, if someone, still needs to have those in making donations like that. And, you mentioned something, Kate, that I wanted to respond to, which is the articles that we're reading now about how the second-hand market and children don't necessarily want the items that, parents have expected to pass down. Family heirlooms, etc. A lot of this speaks to the ability to let go of things. And, there are strategies for helping someone do that. And there are, even games that you can play with family members to help you determine which are the items you can now let go of and which truly bring you joy. Because of course there's the, this paradigm that, surround yourself with only these things that bring you joy. And, and so these are, decluttering and strategies that I use in helping my clients prepare their house for sale. And, or maybe someone is wanting to age in place. Most people at this point do want to age in place. So, from a safety standpoint, it's important to declutter as well, even if you're in it for all of us, really. I mean, I think there's a big trend toward simplification anyway, which is why the younger generations are not interested in the family heirlooms. I think that we're changing the way we feel about stuff. But there are strategies that companies like Kate's, and I think many of ours who are speaking here today have for making the process less stressful. It's stressful anyway, but anything that any help you can have to make it less stressful, I think is a value added.
That was a good conversation. Was there a question over here? Yes.
I had the same question as Ann did about where does it all go and how you dispose of it. But I'm actually curious for both of you. Are you strictly working with the elderly, or do your businesses cater to people of all ages?
Okay, so the question is, both of you, do your businesses concentrate on older people or other people as well?
Sorry. So the SRES professional designation that I hold is 55 plus. So that includes me. So that's young people that I can be working with. And the other thing is that when my clients are more elderly than that, often I'm working with family members, with grown children that are supporting the process, or making the decisions. So in that sense, I do work with younger folks too, when they're making arrangements for their folks.
So when we started the business, it was strictly a senior move management company. we were working exclusively with seniors. But then the secret got out. And we are actually working, I would say probably 40-60. 40% of our business is non-senior business. But yeah, so that's how it's turning. And as far as, where does it all go? I mean, I hope that there will be a trend towards, going back to being able to sell it, but unfortunately, a lot of it just goes into the dump. But we do have, charities that we work with, and we try not to do that. We try, because the key to getting rid of something, well, there's two keys. Number one, telling someone the story about how meaningful it is to you. That's the first thing. And secondly, feeling good about where it's going next. And so we try not, that's not a great option. People don't feel good about that. So.
I just wanted to make a comment, and that is that with regard to selling some contents and also the sale of a property to make what is often the last move for someone, the realization that so often the sale of the home and possessions is the amount of wealth that's going to basically, help someone live out the rest of their life. So the importance of, working with someone who can maximize, say, as an example, the sale of a home. For some folks that means, they get to, choose, maybe they're going to use the proceeds to follow their dreams, in a particular lifestyle. But for others, it's, this is the money that I'm going to use to, to be myself for the rest of my life. And, people are living longer than ever expected before. So, really important to work with the right people who have an understanding that this, for a lot of folks is like, this is the, this is the rest of my life that we're talking about here in terms of, proceeds from the transition.
Thank you. So, think about a client coming to you, a potential client or customer, for both of you, I guess. How would you, like, if I came to you and said, I really don't know how to start downsizing, what can you do for me? I don't know where to start with real estate. What can you do for me? How would you both deal with that?
So when someone doesn't know where to start, we usually go to the areas that are least emotional. So we've got the basement, the garage, and the attic. And we usually start in one of those three places. Because what that does is it gives you some experience. Number one, we get started. Number two, you get a little bit of experience at making decisions that aren't so hard. And you get on a roll and you get some momentum. So by the time you get to your bedroom and your kitchen, you've had some experience and you kind of know what to expect, and it gets a little bit easier as we go along. So that's sort of our strategy when someone doesn't know where to start. We just pick a place that's not so emotional.
How about you, Corinne?
So I actually do hear that a lot. And so, I mean, if the home was small enough, there are some, strategies that I might be able to help someone with. I consider myself the full service agency, so I can help someone get started. If it's, very, very overwhelming, then I've got a wealth of resources that I can share with somebody in terms of either, an organizing coach or someone to help, someone who can specialize in decluttering, certainly, make a referral to home transition resource, all of the special help that's needed. And again, it's emotional, it's logistical, it's financial, legal, piece by piece. And as Kate said, the important thing is start. But I think, it's overwhelming for most people. It's overwhelming when it's not a later in life transaction. when it's a young person doing a real estate transaction or, trying to figure out their, their belongings and their resources, so, yeah.
Questions? I feel like I keep asking questions. I don't want to overrule everybody here.
So it sounds like, I think a big part of all the resource professionals here who have participated in this event really have a sense of care for their clients, and they really want them, obviously they have to make a living, but they really want to have the successful or have success for their client, for their clients. So I think it's important to go ahead and whether these resource people are people you want to use or somebody else, you just need to get out there and talk with everybody. I said this earlier, ask the questions you need to ask. And so what other final thoughts do you have regarding your services you provide for people who have a need for that service? Any difficult things that you've gone through? A client like your father, he had a difficulty with his books.
Yeah, and that was a process where there were so many, and it was a genuine collection of books that his friend from the Boston Public Library said, you need to catalog all your books. Well, that was a big project. And so I said I would help. And I created a blank Excel spreadsheet where he could, catalog everything, and he didn't even know what Excel was. So, it was really starting from scratch. But again, it was an enjoyable process. And everybody's move is different, and you just have to find strategies that work for your particular situation. And I think it's important for everyone to know that there are levels of service. You can utilize our services as a coach. You can utilize our full service. You can take bits and pieces and just make it work for you. It doesn't have to be a full service sort of massive commitment to us. It just you utilize our services the way you see fit.
And also, all these resource professionals, if you think about it, they're all, the people who they serve are all going through a very emotional thing, okay? Okay, so you think about it. Kate provides professional move management. Getting rid of all your stuff, that's very personal. It's very hard to let go of that. Your house, realtor, senior real estate specialist. Your house, that's very emotional. Your money, financial advisor. Your attorney, okay, that's money and that's family. Who are you going to leave money to? Reverse mortgages. I mean, that's your house. That's your money and that's your personal space. On and on. Where are you going to live the rest of your life? With John from, help me, Assisted Living Locators, where am I going to live the rest of it? It's all very emotional. And sometimes, and I see this, sometimes things are so emotionally charged that people don't move forward in their process. So, break it out in pieces, a little bit at a time. Okay, so you think, oh yeah, all right, where am I going to move to? You start exploring. It might take a year, it might take 10 years, but you have to start. If you say, oh, I don't know, my money, how's that going to work? How far is it going to take me? I better go see a financial advisor. Or, maybe I need to, well, I want to stay in my house, but I don't know how I'm going to do that because I need the money. Maybe I need to go see Kate, a reverse mortgage specialist. How am I going to divide my monies between my kids and all? Oh, I'm an attorney. Get my papers in order. So just don't be overwhelmed. You might feel overwhelmed. That's okay. It's just saying, acknowledging the fact that you do feel overwhelmed and say, I'm going to do something about it. okay? And just, and baby steps. Even Kate, you say that baby steps and downsizing, a little bit at a time. Starting in the basement or the attic where it's not so emotional, you know, it's just one thing at a time. And as Kate said earlier, once you achieve that, you gain confidence, that little thing. And then it's momentum, it gets going.
Yeah, once you sort of win that first battle, that first session that you do, it's like, wow, you know, I can do this.
And you see it on their faces and you see it in their persona.
Yeah, definitely.
The point I wanted to make about folks starting now is that I have seen this, and you know, we can see it sometimes around the community where the longer someone takes to, you know, confront this need to make a change, while, you know, learning that they can't really upkeep, you know, the house that's too big for them anyway, and the house begins to decline a little bit, and this is the money that they're going to use to make their next move and to, you know, live out their life support, you know, whatever they choose for the next phase. So, you know, that's an important piece to mention. And Brenda talked about, you know, like where are you going to go? So one of the things that I don't think's been mentioned yet in today's program is these trends in housing for seniors that are popping up. Like I don't know if anybody thinks that they could live in a you know, 400 square foot to 800 square foot, you know, tiny house if it has everything that you need. You know, or what we're seeing now is a lot of multi-generational households, grown children building on an in-law quarters, or a lot of consumers in the real estate market looking for certain situations where, you know, they might be able to bring either an aging parent, you know, into their home, or maybe not into their home. Maybe there's a tiny house on the property. So there's this sense of being closer, but people are able to maintain their privacy. There's a sharing of resources in situations like that, which makes sense, you know, for a lot of folks. And you know, one of the things that I like most that's emerging for seniors in housing options is university-based retirement communities, which I think are just brilliant. Personally, that's I think where I would be headed.
Like LaSalle.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, Notre Dame, and I mean, they're springing up. If anybody is interested in a current list, you know, see me. And I think I mentioned some resources in the book here, but I mean, I think it's just such a brilliant idea, and it just shows that we are, you know, coming up with a lot more creative options for this constituency of folks that are needing to figure out, you know, what is next. And this effort to make sure that, you know, something is being offered for everyone according to their needs, because, you know, I feel strongly that this is a time for folks to enjoy. Why not? You know, we've all worked so hard. What brings you joy? What are you passionate about? And let's figure out how to make that happen. Speaking of, you know, how are you going to make things happen? And the fact that a lot of folks really want to stay in their home, but can't manage it on their own. There are community resources. There are community resources like a membership organization, the Greater Newburyport Village, that for a small annual membership fee, you are able to take advantage of resources, maybe someone to come, you know, do some handyman work, or someone to make sure that your walk is shoveled and sanded in the winter, or maybe just some companionship that you need. So the Greater Newburyport Village is a great resource for folks wanting to age in place, and then also Time Trade Network of Greater Newburyport. Same kind of thing. Help is available.
Yeah, there's a lot of resources, but it's up to you to go out and do the research and look at the communities and type of situation that you want to live in, lifestyle. And also do it while you're healthy. So, and you had said a little earlier, you know, you're living in your home and you kind of want to move, but you're not sure, and then your house is getting a little older and it's getting harder, and just do it before, while you can enjoy it, okay, while you can enjoy your new home, just do it. So, it looks like it's time, and, but thank you all for coming. It's been a long day for some of you who stayed throughout. Feel free to go into the resource rooms, both sides. Food is over here. We're gonna, you can stay till 2 o'clock to chat with people if you want, it's up to you. But thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, everyone.